All right, so Blackbeard fire plugs, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah, seems like it.
And people are asking, are they legit? Should I add them to my kit? Waterproof, 8-minute burn time. Those are some pretty big claims.
For sure, bold claims.
So let's break it down.
Let's get into it.
See what makes these things tick. We've got reviews, product descriptions, all that jazz.
Cool. It's really interesting to see this kind of innovation, in fire starting. People are really demanding gear that's reliable and environmentally conscious these days.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics.
Yep.
What are Blackbeard fire plugs?
Yeah.
Is it just like a cotton ball and Vaseline?
Yeah.
Some kind of trick? What is it?
It's definitely not another cotton ball and Vaseline trick.
Okay.
You can think of them as like a compact weatherproof fire starter.
Okay.
Almost like a little waxy puck.
Okay.
And they're designed to be incredibly portable, small enough to fit in a pocket or on a keychain.
Right.
You can tuck it into any nook or cranny of your gear.
Yeah. I was reading that they're made in the USA, which is a big deal for a lot of people.
It is.
But let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Waterproof A&D windproof. How is that even possible?
It's true.
Really?
Yeah, the core is a blend of these like flammable fibers, kind of like a super fine cotton.
Okay.
And then it's infused with a proprietary blend of waxes. And that's what gives them that weatherproof like armor.
Okay.
They're also non-toxic and odorless, which is a nice bonus.
That is a nice bonus for sure.
Yeah.
So they sound tough, but how do you actually UEs one of these things? Do you just light the whole thing on fire?
It's even simpler than that.
Okay.
It's a bend, break, ignite system.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you bend the plug a few times to loosen it up, and then you give it a twist until it snaps in half.
Interesting.
And that exposes the inner fibers.
Okay.
Creates a larger surface area for ignition.
Okay.
And then you just light it up.
Easy.
With a spark from your ferro rod.
Oh, cool.
Even another burning fire plug would do the trick. Oh, wow. So you could chain them together.
Exactly.
That's cool. So it's like creating kindling right there in the plug itself.
It is.
Smart.
It's very efficient.
Yeah.
And that waxy coating does double duty there.
Okay.
Protects the fibers. 88, it acts as additional fuel for the burn.
So that's how they get that long burn time, huh?
That's how they manage that impressive 8-minute burn time here.
8 minutes? That is a long time to get a fire going.
It is.
Especially if the wood's a little damp or something.
Exactly. No more frantic striking of matches in the wind,
Yeah.
hoping your tinder catches before the flame goes out.
Yeah, you're out in the rain or something.
Exactly. You've got time to build a proper fire no matter the conditions.
Speaking of conditions,
Yeah.
what makes these better than just carrying a lighter or matches?
Okay, so
I mean, those are pretty reliable too, right?
they are in certain situations.
Yeah.
But think about it. How often have you struggled to light a match in the wind?
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
Or even worse, when everything's damp.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah.
Those tiny matchsticks just don't stand a chance.
Totally useless.
But because of that waxy coating, a Blackbeard fire plug can even be submerged in water, pulled out, and still light right up.
Oh, wow. No way.
It's true.
Okay, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
So it's like having a guaranteed fire starter
Yeah.
no matter what.
Almost.
Wow.
Unless you crush it or something. But yeah,
Right.
for the most part.
Okay. And what about the shelf life on these things?
They have a ridiculously long shelf life.
Okay.
Up to 30 years.
Wow.
So you can buy them once and know that they'll be ready when you need them.
All right. So I'm starting to see the appeal,
Yeah.
reliability, convenience, and a touch of that always be prepared vibe.
Always be prepared. Yeah.
I like it.
That's a good motto.
What about the environmental impact?
Oh, yeah. Let's not forget the eco-friendly aspect.
Oh.
They're biodegradable and non-toxic.
So they're not going to leave any nasty residue?
Nope.
Okay. So they're good for the planet, good for your peace of mind. Are there any downsides to these things?
That's a good question.
They sound almost too good to be true.
Well, some users have mentioned that the waxy coating can be a bit sticky.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Especially if you're handling them with your bare hands.
That makes sense.
But that's a pretty minor inconvenience considering all the advantages.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yeah.
Just keep a napkin or something with you
Exactly.
to wipe your hands off.
Yeah, and while they're incredibly versatile, it's important to remember that they're not,
Right.
a magic solution for every fire starting scenario.
Right.
You still need to understand, basic fire building principles.
Of course.
And use common sense when working with fire.
Safety first, always.
Always.
But for a reliable, portable, eco-friendly way to start a fire in pretty much any condition.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they're impressive.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm equally impressed. I
Yeah.
think their combination of simplicity and ruggedness is what really stands out to me.
Mm.
Plus the fact that they're made in the USA using sustainable materials.
Right.
That's a definite plus.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered what they are.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered how they work.
Yeah.
But how do they actually stack up against
Right.
other wishes to start a fire?
Yeah, the competition.
Yeah. Are these genuinely innovative, or is this just a fancy take on an old trick?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's time to pit Blackbeard fire plugs against the competition.
All right. Let's bring on the fire-starting showdown.
Let's do it. So for this fire-starting showdown,
Yeah.
on one side, we've got our contender,
Okay.
Blackbeard fire plug,
Okay.
with its waterproof, windproof design
Right.
and that impressive 8-minute burn time.
So who are we putting them up against?
Well,
Who are the challengers?
we've got the classics,
Okay.
you know,
The old standbys.
your standard matches and lighters.
Right. Right.
They're cheap. They're readily available.
Yeah.
Most people are familiar with them.
Yeah. Tried and true.
Yeah, exactly.
Been around forever.
Tried and true of the fire starting world.
But let's be honest. They have their downsides.
Exactly. Matches are notoriously unreliable
Right.
in wind and damp conditions.
Totally.
And you know, a cheap lighter can fail when you need it most,
Oh, yeah.
especially at higher altitudes or in cold weather.
Totally had that happen.
Yeah,
So annoying.
it's a bummer.
And what about the environmental impact?
Yeah.
You know, all those disposable lighters
Right.
end up in landfills.
Huge amounts of plastic waste.
Right.
And even matches, you know, contribute to deforestation.
It's true.
So
Not ideal.
in terms of reliability and sustainability,
Right.
the Blackbeard fire plug's already got a leg up.
All right. So who else is stepping into the ring here?
Okay, so we've got
Okay.
the more specialized fire starters,
Okay.
things like magnesium blocks and ferro rods.
Right now, those are more for the, serious outdoor enthusiast.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, they require a bit more skill to use effectively,
Okay.
but they're incredibly reliable and can last for years.
You need, a separate striking tool
Right.
for those.
Yeah.
So it's another thing to carry.
Another piece of gear to carry, yeah.
Right.
And that's where the Blackbeard fire plug simplicity kind of shines.
Right.
You can light it with a ferro rod,
Right.
even another burning fire plug.
It's its own little system.
Yeah, it's like a self-contained system.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What about those other ones? Like environmentally, are they?
Okay. Yeah, magnesium blocks and ferro rods are pretty eco-friendly.
Okay.
They're reusable, and they don't rely on fossil fuels.
All right. So it sounds like the Blackbeard fire plugs are holding their own
They are.
against some pretty stiff competition.
Yeah, they're a worthy contender.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then you've got the DIY solutions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly.
Right. Or dryer lint tucked into cardboard tubes.
Okay, so those are definitely budget friendly.
Yes, super budget friendly.
But are they really contenders in this fire starting showdown?
I mean, they can work in a pinch,
Right,
but they're not as reliable
right.
as the purpose-built fire starters.
Of course.
And petroleum jelly is not exactly environmentally friendly.
Yeah, good point.
Oh.
All right, so where do we stand in this fire starting face-off?
Okay, so the classic matches and lighters, they're
Yeah.
outmatched
Okay,
in terms of reliability and sustainability.
okay.
The specialized fire starters like magnesium blocks and ferro rods,
Yeah.
they're strong contenders,
Okay,
but they require a bit more skill
Uh.
and some additional gear.
okay,
And the DIY solutions,
Yeah.
let's just say they're not in the same league.
okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the Blackbeard fire plug is emerging as a real champion here.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reliable, it's easy to use,
Mm.
it's eco-friendly, and it's incredibly versatile.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, you can use it with other stuff.
Exactly. You can incorporate it into your existing fire starting kit.
Yeah.
So it's not just a gimmick.
Right.
It's a genuinely innovative fire starter
Yeah.
that deserves a spot in any outdoor enthusiast's kit.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the practical aspects of fire.
Yeah,
you know?
but the functionality.
But fire is more than just a tool, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like this deeply symbolic thing
It's deeply symbolic.
for humans. I mean, for millennia,
Yeah.
fire has been, a source of warmth and light
Yeah.
and protection
Mm-hmm.
and a symbol of community and gathering and all these things.
And storytelling.
Right, exactly. It's just fascinating to think how we, as humans, have been using fire
Mm-hmm.
for so long.
You're so long.
And we're still finding new and innovative ways to use it.
It's true.
It's amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
And Blackbeard fire plugs are like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
This blend of ancient knowledge
Mm.
and modern technology
Yeah.
to bring us this reliable, sustainable way to create fire.
I love that.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, but you know enough with the philosophical
I'll sit
musing.
down to earth.
Let's get back to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
So we've established that Blackbeard fire plugs are reliable,
Mm-hmm.
but are they foolproof? I mean,
That's a great question.
can anything go wrong with them?
Yeah, it's important to be realistic
Right.
about any piece of gear.
Of course, yeah.
No fire starter is completely infallible.
So what are some of the potential, challenges or things to keep in mind?
Okay, so while the waterproof design is incredibly effective, it's not indestructible.
Right.
If the plug gets crushed or punctured,
Okay.
the waxy coating can be compromised
Right.
and water might seep in.
So you got to store them properly,
Exactly.
protect them from damage.
Keep them in a waterproof container or a pouch
Right.
and avoid tossing them around carelessly in your backpack.
Makes sense.
Oh.
And even though the burn time is impressive,
Yeah?
it's not infinite.
No, it's not.
You still got to gather your tinder and kindling.
You got to work quickly
Right.
and efficiently.
The 8-minute burn time gives you a generous window,
Right.
but you don't want to waste it.
Don't waste it.
Yeah.
No, I've seen some reviews where people mentioned
Yeah.
that the plugs can be a little difficult to break apart,
Yeah.
especially in cold weather.
Yeah, that's true.
Any tips for dealing with that?
A good trick is to warm the plug up in your hands
Okay.
for a few seconds before
Yeah.
trying to break it.
Okay.
That'll soften the waxy coating,
Oh, okay.
make it easier to snap.
So like preheating your oven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're in extremely cold conditions,
Yeah.
you can even try using a rock or a hard object to gently score the plug
Okay.
before bending it.
Interesting.
That'll create a weak point
Right.
and make it easier to snap in half.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
It's all about being adaptable, right?
It's
And finding ways to work with the conditions.
exactly.
Yeah. And remember, practice makes perfect.
That's true.
The more you use Blackbeard fire plugs,
Mm-hmm.
the more comfortable and confident you'll become
Right.
with their unique features.
So it's not rocket science.
No, it's not.
It's just practice.
It's just practice.
Right. All right. So we've talked about some of the potential downsides
Mm-hmm.
and how to overcome them.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to emphasize
Right.
that these are relatively minor issues
Yeah,
compared to the overall benefits of the Blackbeard fire plugs.
absolutely. They're reliable, convenient,
Mm.
eco-friendly
Right.
fire starter that can make a world of difference in your outdoor adventures.
And I'm curious to hear from our listeners. Have you
Yeah.
tried Blackbeard fire plugs?
What are your experiences?
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories, your tips
Yes.
and tricks for using these innovative fire starters.
So head over to our website or social media and share your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know.
But before you do, let's explore one more fascinating aspect of Blackbeard fire plugs.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm always up for a good fire starting adventure. All right, lay it on me. What else is there to learn about these fire plugs?
Well, we've talked about how practical they are, how reliable they are.
All right.
But there's something about the design
Yeah.
that I think we should get into.
Okay.
Like, it's not just, throwing some wax on a cotton ball.
Definitely not.
Right.
No, there's real thought that went into this, how
Right.
these things are put together.
Yeah.
Remember that proprietary blend of waxes we were talking about before?
Yeah.
That's not just any old wax.
Okay.
It's specially formulated
Uh-huh.
to achieve like that perfect balance
Yeah.
of waterproofing, flammability, burn time.
So it's like a recipe,
It is.
but for fire starting.
Exactly. They've had to experiment
Right.
with different types of waxes, different ratios, different application methods
Oh, well.
to get that ideal performance.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then there's the choice of fibers for the core. It has to be something that's both highly flammable
Right.
and able to absorb that waxy coating
Right.
without becoming too dense to ignite.
Yeah, you don't want it to get soggy.
Exactly.
So it's like this balancing act
It is.
between material science and, just good old-fashioned
Yeah.
fire-making knowledge.
Absolutely. And then there's the manufacturing process itself.
Right.
Applying that waxy coating evenly and consistently
Yeah.
is really crucial.
It's got to be just right.
If there's too much wax,
Yeah.
the plug won't light properly,
Right.
too little, and you lose that waterproof protection.
So it's not just the materials, it's the precision
Exactly.
that goes into it.
It's that attention to detail that sets these apart from like
Right.
the homemade DIY versions.
Right. You could try to make these at home,
You could.
but you probably wouldn't get it right.
It'd be tough to achieve that
Right.
same level of reliability and consistency.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
baking a cake from scratch versus using a box mix.
Perfect analogy.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it to go with the experts
Right.
who've perfected the recipe.
So we've got this, like, high-tech materials and thoughtful design.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, these are just fire starters, right?
that's
It's
true.
not like we're reinventing the wheel here.
But I think there's something to be said
Okay.
for taking a simple concept
Uh-huh.
and elevating it
Okay.
to a new level.
Okay.
You know, Blackbeard fire plugs aren't just about starting a fire.
Right.
They're about doing it reliably, conveniently, and with minimal impact on the environment.
Right. So it's like taking these essential elements of fire, starting,
Yeah.
the spark, the fuel, the control,
Yeah.
and packaging them in a way that's both
Exactly.
modern and timeless.
It's like a classic design, but with a modern twist.
Yeah. I like that. And there's something just satisfying
Yeah.
about having a tool that just works.
Absolutely.
No fuss, no fiddling,
Yeah.
just a dependable flame when you need it.
And that sense of reliability can be crucial.
Right. Especially
In situations where fire is more than just a convenience.
right, like emergency preparedness, survival situations.
Exactly.
You need a fire.
Yeah.
You need it to work.
And having that tool that you can trust
Right.
makes all the difference.
And knowing that these fire plugs are made with care and precision
Yes.
right here in the USA,
Yes.
that adds another layer
Yes.
of confidence.
It's a company that stands behind its product.
Exactly.
And that's something worth supporting.
All right. So I think we've thoroughly
I think so.
dissected these Blackbeard fire plugs.
We've covered it all.
We've covered everything,
Yeah.
from the materials and design
Yeah.
to the practicality, reliability,
Prism?
even the symbolic significance.
It's been a true deep dive.
It has been a deep dive.
We've explored the science, the history, the artistry of fire, starting
Amazing.
through the lens of this tiny but mighty tool.
So for anyone listening
Yeah.
who's still on the fence about these, what's the final takeaway? What would you want them to remember?
I would say Blackbeard fire plugs are a reminder
Okay.
that innovation can come in the simplest of forms.
Right.
They're a testament to the power of taking something essential
Yeah.
and making it better, more reliable, more convenient, more sustainable.
Well said.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
Until next time,
Yeah.
stay curious, stay prepared,
Yes.
and stay fired up.
And happy fire, starting everyone